Hey guys, this is Dragon Ball for Life here. Today, I want to talk about Dragon Ball Super Goku and is he dumber than Z Goku or no? Now, this discussion is quite big in the Dragon Ball community, especially when it pertains to Dragon Ball Super itself. A lot of the Dragon Ball fans are divided on this. Some say that Goku in Super has gotten too dumb, he's too childish, he's too reckless, and only really cares about fighting. And others say this is how he's always been and there's nothing wrong with it. And this is just his character and that people just don't understand because they've been watching too much, the English dub version, the Funimation version where they try to make him sound like Superman. And you hear this argument all the time. And, it still doesn't change the fact that both sides have, the other side thinks it's bad writing. So there's both sides that are arguing on this on the opposite end. Now, which side do I agree with? Personally, if I'm being honest, I do agree and I do feel like 100% that Goku in Dragon Ball Super has gotten dumber and has gotten to the point where he is completely reckless and careless and doesn't have any thought in his head besides, I want to have a good fight. Let's have a good fight. Let's do this. It's never about, about what's the thing called? He's not thinking ahead or think about anything else besides just fighting. And I know Goku is a fighter and that's what he normally does, but they made it sound like that's the only thing he thinks about and he can't. His brain can't function when it has nothing to do with fighting itself. So they did make him more of a caricature than what he was before and usually used to be. And what he's usually shown to be, I just feel like that it's kind of over exaggerated to a crazy extent in Super. So that was my problem with that. But the argument that, oh, you guys don't understand, you just watch the Funimation dub, it's dumb for two reasons. For one, you're assuming that these people have never read the manga or watched the one in original Japanese version, which I highly doubt, especially the manga. And two, the argument is they changed him to make him more like Superman-esque or heroic so they made him sound smarter. That doesn't really make sense. Usually when people use that as an argument, they usually use it in the context of Goku's personality of, is he a selfish character or is he a heroic character? Because a lot of people say, well, it's weird to see him be selfish, but the argument is, well, that's what Funimation made him look like in the original adaptation of Goku. He was never shown to be a very heroic person. He did do good stuff, but he doesn't go out of his ways to be, a quintessential hero. So that's where usually the argument comes in from. But when it comes to his intelligence, it doesn't really work. It's not like Funimation changed it to make him sound smarter. The only things they really changed, yes, they changed some dialogue, but usually they changed to make him sound more heroic. But that has nothing to do with his intelligence. So that argument is kind of dumb in my opinion, and I feel like it's a lazy attempt to defend this. And whenever I see people saying this, they don't really make a counter argument to it or try to the people that are saying it, they don't explain it. They just simply say the Funimation dub one made him sound like a hero. They never give examples or proof that the original version is different than this one. And they always talk about the manga. You can't be talking about the dub and then talk about the manga. Shouldn't you talk about the Japanese anime version in the Japanese language? So to me, it seems like it's a piss poor excuse to say, well, he's not that dumb. Well, he's always been this dumb. And for me, I never really agreed with it, but then I was like, okay, maybe I should read the manga. I have read the manga before, I think like 2 or 3 other times, but I usually didn't, when I was reading it, I wasn't really sticking on to see how smart Goku was, so I did reread it. And like I said in my other video, that this video is gonna take some time for me to do some research because this is a bigger project. Because I did have to look back from all the way from from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z to the end of that portion in the manga itself to come up with this, to find out what's the case. Because when I read it, he didn't seem dumb. He didn't seem the same as Super. So I was like, maybe let me analyze it as much as possible. And I did. And to be honest, I 100% think that they're lying. They're making it up. I think it's just an excuse to say, hey, Goku hasn't gotten dumber because they don't want to admit that Super's writing is terrible. They made Goku's... it's like... It shows that Toei, because that's who's running it, doesn't know the characters themselves at all or the writing. They're clearly bad at writing. And I know Toriyama gives some storyboards, but a lot of the stuff that is written in the story is based off of their own way. And the way they've handled his character has been terrible. That's why I didn't like them making GT, and I don't like Super because of it. I feel like if they were going to do it, they should have had somebody else take over the helm to control this project. They could have had somebody, like, handpick somebody who's a good writer, who loves Dragon Ball, who can make these stories happen and understands these characters to do it. Because they're just a big company, and I feel like they should stick their hands out of the show itself and just do the promotion stuff. Because whenever they start doing the writing and start putting their hands into it too much, they start making crap like this. And I'll give you examples. People keep on saying that he's dumb and stuff because he did a couple moments, like, you know, letting Raditz go, but I think that was more because it was his brother, and I know he said he wouldn't forgive him, but let's be honest, it's his brother at the end of the day. Even though this is his first time meeting him, he does still have, like, he did care about him, especially when he said, "I'm your only brother." You can see the look on his face. He's like, "Oh crap, I can't go with this." And then after that, he was willing to hold him and take him down. Also, he was the one who thought of the plan, so it shows his intelligence right there. And then some people say when he did with, like, Frieza, where he let him go, I will admit those multiple times when he let Frieza go was dumb, but that I would give it more to be like him being heroic. People want to say he's not heroic at all. That's not true. He is not heroic like Superman levels, but he is pretty like Superman or Batman-esque. And when I see that, I'm just like, it is dumb. And I'm not saying, the whole point of this video is not to say that Z Goku's a genius and Super Goku just made him sound dumb. He isn't the most intelligent guy. He is very naive, but I don't think he's a complete moron, especially to the extent that we see in Super. That was my big problem with how they showed him in there. That's what I'm saying. He's a caricature of what he used to be, because he used to have some goofy moments. Sometimes he would be naive, sometimes he would be dumb. But now they cranked it up to 11, and it's like 24/7. That's just his character. The only time we've seen him have some form of intelligence is when he's in combat, and even then, sometimes he can be very, you know, forgetful and very stupid, especially with how arrogant he can get. So I did not like that writing. I hated the aspect that he was so, you know, idiotic way he dealt with these situations. Frieza one, like I said, that one is just like a heroic thing. I know he's not supposed to be 100% a hero stuff, but he does have like the characteristics of a hero, even with his selfishness involved. He's a warrior, and he's kind of like a somewhat hero. He's not like the quintessential hero, but he's like a certain type of one. And yeah, so that, it's like with Superman and Batman. It's dumb, but they're not idiots. It's just that they're too soft to allow it, to stop it. Like, they know that it's wrong. They know that it's a stupid decision. It's just the fact that they're too soft to do it. And yeah, Goku's shown quite a bunch of times he had shown to be very intelligent. And like, for example, the Cell Saga, he was a complete genius in that one. He, first of all, knew how powerful Gohan was, how to utilize his power, how to draw it out. He was pre-planning. Even though he didn't see Cell, he knew how powerful he would get. He let Vegeta go in there first because he knew Vegeta was going to screw it up anyway. And then when Gohan comes out, he would be able to handle it anyway. And he planned ahead for knowing that Gohan would, you know, how to trigger his power. And the smartest thing I think he did was he fought Cell first, because Cell was assuming that Goku was the only strong one that can give him a challenge. So when he fought Goku, he went all out in fighting wise, not power wise. Obviously he was holding back half of his power, but he was going all out with his techniques because he thought he was the only one. But when Goku quit, it surprised him. Goku's plan was basically, he even revealed it, was to basically fight Cell first to show Gohan how, not only how powerful Cell is, but his moves and what he can do and how he fights, so he can analyze on it and then fight him himself. And when he does, he's more prepared. So that was a smart move by him. He pre-planned that. Yeah, he didn't make the mistake of not knowing that Gohan's not a fighter, but I want to be honest, that is Gohan's fault. What all Gohan did, because Goku, he was dead for a long time, for most of the times that he was there in his life, and the times he was, Gohan put up this fake, like, you know, persona of I'm a fighter. When Goku told him to leave when Vegeta was there, he came back. When he chose to go to Namek himself, he went into multiple fights himself there. And then when he came back and he was training with, he trained with him for just 3 years with him and Piccolo. And then when he went to the time chamber, Gohan even said, your Piccolo was right, you're soft. You train too soft. I want you to go hard on me. So that was also on Gohan. So Gohan always led up to make him believe that. So yeah, he was kind of done with that part, but it's also Gohan's fault for trying to act this way. It's like, for me, if that's not who I am, I'm not gonna pretend to be that. That was Gohan's fault on that in that case. So yeah, there's that. And then like in the Cell Saga, I mean the end of the Cell Saga, he was also smart. When he died, he didn't want to come back, not for any selfish reason. It's because he knew that if he comes back, that because he realized that every time, you know, he basically he every time he's there, all the threats that come there is because of him. And then he thought that the best situation to solve that problem was to simply, you know, just not come back. So that was more of on a part of, I want to protect Earth, so I have to be smart and I have to stay back. So that was also very smart of him. Another instance where he was really intelligent was in the Buu Saga, when, you know, he said he possibly beat him in Super Saiyan 3. It wasn't a definitive yes that he could have, but he said he possibly could have. And the only reason he didn't, one, he didn't want to waste up all the energy he had on Earth, and two, he knew that if he did beat him, he wanted to leave the fighting to the new generation, because he knew that his time came and passed. He's dead. If he beats him and let's say he wins, he's just gonna go back to the afterlife, never be able to come back again. And then if there's a bigger threat, these guys can't handle it because they relied on him. He knows that they can't just keep on relying on him, especially a dead guy that's passed. So he was smart enough to, like, you know, he was thinking deep about it, and he was you know, he was conflicting him mentally of should he do it, but he's like, oh, it matters about the generation. He was thinking about the future, so he was planning ahead for the future, and it made sense. It was a smart idea to, like, you know, do that. So Goku's intelligence in Z, it shows. Yes, he has dumb moments, but he has very intelligent moments shining through. Whereas in Super, the only time I saw it was when he had like the fight against Hit, and sometimes like other fights, but that's just specifically fighting. When it comes to everything else, he's a moron, and like it just seems like he's a caricature and he's ridiculous. And if anybody disagrees with me and uses that argument, go ahead, but you know it isn't true. If you're really gonna say that, at least bring up evidence and facts, because I brought up my facts. He is not as dumb as people or these guys are trying to make him sound like in Z. Yes, he is naive. Sometimes he might let some people go. Sometimes he might do this stuff, but that's, again, he does that because he wants a challenge, and that's his Saiyan blood. Vegeta, you can also say is dumb. Vegeta made decisions like letting Cell power absorb, you know, Android 18. He also did. He also let Majin, you know, Bobby take over him so he can get more powerful. He did a couple other dumb things too. Like he broke the Patara earrings because he said he would rather fight him one-on-one. Even though the universe was in danger, these guys were willing to, you know, risk it, because for Saiyans, the most important thing is their pride. They'll put that over even the universe itself and anybody else. It might sound crazy, but it's not dumb. They're just, you know, I wouldn't say they're heartless, but the way Saiyans' mentality is, they're more reckless, and I guess you can say heartless, to the point where they're willing to sacrifice other people or do horrible things just to get more powerful. Obviously they're on a better extent for Goku and Vegeta, but they still have that in them. So that isn't stupidity, it's just like they're saying biology that comes into play when it comes to that. So yeah, when I look at it, he isn't as dumb as he is in Super. If you look at, if you do a side-by-side comparison about how Goku acts in Super to Z, Z is far smarter. Goku, he does be goofy at times, he does be dumb at times, but a lot of times he's serious. A lot of times he thinks and he plans. He is far more intelligent and more in depth in Z. He can be goofy and he can be serious. He can be strategic and smart, and he can also be naive and dumb. That's what I love about Goku and Z. He's many things. Whereas in Super, he's just a, you know, he's just 24/7 think about battling, reckless, and being dumb. So anybody who says that, you're just blatantly wrong. I'm sorry, it's just true. It's just wrong. And if you guys hear people say this, tell them these points, tell them these facts, and show them, because they always trying to be condescending, saying, oh, you guys never read this stuff. I've read it. I've watched the Japanese version. Don't act like you're special. I did. The only difference between me and you is I'm not trying to ask his Super and trying to BS my way through it. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.